A handy Braille reference sheet to have by your desk is the Aroga reference sheet. That's spelled A-R-O-G-A. It does assume some prior knowledge. I'm hopping over to iceb.org. I want you to download the Rules of Unified English Braille 2013. It's available as a PDF or as a BRF. That's a Braille Ready file. And it's a little over 300 pages, and these are the rules on how to transcribe Braille, which you need that because the reference sheet is assuming you know how to look up the rules. And the other thing to download is Braille Formats 2016. That's available as a PDF or as a BRF, and that's on BrailleAuthority.org's website. Because there's a lot more to Braille than just plugging in some Braille signs. So let's go through each of the columns on this reference sheet so you have an idea of all the fun things you get to learn. So in the first column, we have the alphabet and numbers. And above the letters A through J, it has the numbers 1 through 9, and then 0. So already it's assuming prior knowledge. They're assuming you know you need to put a numeric indicator, which is the first sign right after the alphabet, and that's dots 3, 4, 5, 6. You would put a numeric indicator before like the letter A, and that switches it to the number 1. And I've made a whole video about numbers, and you can click on it up here to watch it. So scrolling down, we have the signs for how to capitalize. We have how to capitalize a letter, a word, a passage, and the capital terminator. And basically the difference between this is a letter would be like Elizabeth. I want to capitalize the first letter. If I wanted to capitalize my entire name, I use the capital word indicator. And a passage is like hitting shift on your keyboard. Caps lock is stuck on until you turn it off, and you turn it off by using the capital terminator. Next section is called Grade 1. So Braille takes up more space than its print equivalent, and one way of saving space is by using what we call contractions. These are groups of letters or entire words condensed down into one Braille cell. And a Braille cell is a grouping of 6 dots arranged into 2 columns. And grade 1 means, hey, I don't want this to be read as a contraction. This is just someone's initials, something like that. And that's when you would use the grade 1 symbol, word, or passage indicator. Then we have the Braille signs for, hey, this is italics, no, it's bold, underlined, or script. Scroll back up the top, we're in the second column. We have punctuation. So comma, dot 2, period, so we call a drop D. It's the same shape as the letter D, but it's dropped down 1 row. Apostrophe, dot 3, like how it rhymes. And something that happened in the US that's really big to know, in 2016, we switched the way we write Braille, and a lot of the punctuation symbols changed. So at the beginning of a book, a lot of times there's this special symbols page, and it'll list punctuation because it's letting the reader know, hey, we're using the new code, and the new code has reassigned these dots to mean something else. So it's just a polite way to remind you of how to read the Braille, because some of the changes are pretty drastic. And the reason we switched is because we're unified with other English-speaking countries. So we went from the old code, English Braille American Edition, which we just called eBay, to Unified English Braille, or UEB. So we're unified with other English-speaking countries, so you could get a book from Australia or Ireland, and all of the Braille dots would mean the same thing. So let's scroll past punctuation, then we've got grouping punctuation, and these are 2 Braille cell signs. So it's 2 Braille cells, one following right after the other, and together this means something. In this case, it means opening parenthesis. The one after it is closing parenthesis. Let's check out the third column. We have signs of operation and comparison. So not to overwhelm you, but in the US we have 2 math codes. We have UEB and we have Nemeth. And in general, UEB is for everyday math and Nemeth is for higher math. And this is how you write signs of operation and comparison in UEB. Below that we have currency and measurement. So how to write cent, dollar, euro, all the good things. Special symbols, degree, oh, hashtag. I want to talk about hashtag. Sometimes on Braille reference sheets, it'll show the hashtag symbol and then the numeric indicator Braille sign, which is dots 3, 4, 5, 6. But hashtag is written differently from a numeric indicator, and that's what's shown right here. A hashtag is a 2 Braille cell sign, so it's dots 4, 5, 6. That's all the dots on the right-hand side of the Braille cell. And then the second Braille sign is dots 1, 4, 5, 6. So that's how you'd write hashtag Braille, hashtag Braille art, something like that. But if you wanted to write number 1, you'd write numeric indicator, which is dots 3, 4, 5, 6, and then dot 1. We've got ampersand, copyright. Let's hop on over to the next section. Alphabetic word signs. So we have word signs and group signs. These are important vocab for you to learn. A word sign is an entire word smushed into a Braille cell. And a Braille cell is a combination of 6 dots, 2 columns of 3. It's like the smallest unit of measure in Braille. Whereas a group sign is a group of letters smushed into a Braille cell. So one's a word, one's a group of letters. One way of saving space in Braille is that letters of the alphabet have been assigned words. So like B stands for but, C stands for can, D stands for do. And if they're written as standing alone, then they stand for the word. So you get to memorize those guys. And so is an alphabetic word sign. You could write it by just writing the letter S. We have strong contractions. They can be part or whole word signs. The first one is A and D. As part of a word, it could be hidden in the word band or hand, or it could be a whole word like Tim and Elizabeth. Strong word signs. These guys have to stand alone. We'll look at the first one, which is child, and that's dots 1, 6. Let's scroll up to the top, and we have strong group signs. Remember, group of letters, and the sign that's dots 1, 6 now stands for CH. And use this like inside of the word chicken. Lower group signs, EA, BB, CC, FF, GG. They call these the sandwich contractions because they have to be sandwiched between 2 Braille signs. That's because these could be misinterpreted as punctuation. Take a look at EA. It's dot 2, and if you remember how to write a comma, that's a dot 2. So a lot of times Braille signs can have more than one meaning depending upon where they're at. Are they standing alone? Are they at the beginning or inside of the word? Then we have more lower word signs. They all have different rules. You'll learn about those in the 2 documents I was mentioning. Lower word signs. Okay, we're halfway through. Initial letter contractions. We call these the dot 5 signs because it's a lot easier than saying initial letter contraction. It's a 2 Braille cell sign. It's a dot 5 followed by the initial letter of the word we want it to represent. So dot 5D for day, dot 5E for ever, dot 5F for father, and so on. You get it. Scroll down. We have dot 4, 5 words, dot 4, 5, 6 words. We have final letter group signs. These can be a little confusing to folks. We have a 2 Braille cell sign. The first cell is dots 4, 6, followed by the final letter of the group sign. So we have O-U-N-D, and the last letter is a D. So it's dots 4, 6, D. The one below that is ance, A-N-C-E, And the Braille sign for that is dots 4, 6 followed by an E. And this can be used in the middle or at the end of a word. Some people think this has to be at the final part, at the end of the word. But the final letter group sign, the final means the last letter of the group sign. Let me scroll out, zoom out. Bleh, can't talk. Moving on to short forms. There's 75, that's why I need to zoom out so you can. Bloop. There we go. Short forms. This is a way of shortening a word in Braille. Like AB stands for the word about, ABV is above, and these can be hidden in other words as long as it's part of an approved list, and they all have rules. You'll just get used to that. There's rules for everything in Braille. And the bottom right-hand corner of this reference sheet, love this about this reference sheet, is it lists the retired contractions. Now in 2016, the US switched over from eBay to UEB, but you will still come across the old or the retired contractions in library books on signage, and those are listed here, like BLEDD into. So these are really good to know, so you know how to navigate. And yeah, there you go. This is the Aroga Braille reference sheet. Search for it online. It's also linked below. And yeah, have fun studying because there's rules for everything. You can't just look up a sign and plug it in. There's more to transcription than just knowing the Braille signs.